Welcome back to Let's Laugh About It, the not-so-serious business podcast powered by D2CX. I'm Zoe Kahn, and I'm here to celebrate our wins, vent about our challenges, and bring the D2C and e-commerce community together. Welcome to Let's Laugh About It. I'm Zoe Kahn, your host, and today I have two queens here. This is a different type of episode. I usually only have one guest, so you guys are like, it's nice to see two people, and I don't have to talk as much. So today I've got Sarah and Robyn here. They're both in the social media influencer space, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. And Sarah seems to know what you're going to say, and Robyn has a long history to tell us. So I'm going to let Sarah go first. Sarah, tell the listeners about yourself.
Sure. Well, thank you, Zoe, for having me on. I love a good yap session.
Yes, we're just going to yap.
So I'm Sarah Grosz. I lead influencer at a D2C brand called Allbirds. And before that, I've always been in the influencer space, but more specifically building and focusing really on process. So I was consulting independently for a little bit, working on building process for other brands' influencer strategies and campaigns. And then before that, I was at a pretty predominant new customer acquisition marketing agency called Mute 6, where I started and scaled their influencer department, working with some of the fastest growing D2C brands. Some that you might know is BarkBox, Theragun, It's a 10. There was hundreds and hundreds of brands. And so one of my funny, laughable moments in that whole career that I've been building and growing is it all really started when I was 21. And I really didn't know what I was doing at all. So definitely a laughable moment to look back and think of all the things that I was doing at so young of an age.
I love it. We're going to have to circle back on just the difference between because I feel like influencer marketing, when we were posting on Instagram and we were all everyone is like an influencer and we just think we know what we're doing. But then you get behind a brand and you're like, wait, there's I have to have metrics, strategy. Yes, I want to circle back to that. But Robyn, tell us about your career and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And Sarah, what amazing brands. For those of you who have never seen me before, I'm Robyn Nissim, and I made a career out of being a millennial. So I can totally relate to what you're saying about I was in my early 20s and I literally had no idea that this would now become a $250 billion industry. And so I started my career in traditional advertising and was just deeply offended by every single approach that was forced upon me.
Deeply offended. I
was just like, yeah, no, I will never see that commercial because I stream everything and I have an ad blocker. And then also I'm addicted to my phone. So if you want to reach me, I'm on social media. And that allowed me the opportunity to open up brand channels for Michelin and Nissan on social media. Did that in the agency world for about 5 years, won a Webby Award, quit, had my mic drop moment. I was like,
wait, tell us what a Webby Award is.
A Webby Award is an award from the Webbies. It's an internet award that is voted by a group of prestigious people. The group changes every year. And it's basically an award for internet greatness.
That's amazing.
That basically draw a lot of traffic.
Yeah, I didn't want you to gloss over that. You're like, won this award. Anyways, next.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Zoe.
You're welcome.
And so, long story short, quit my job, was quickly humbled, truly, when I learned the power of global brand recognition. Obviously, it's really easy to go viral and get people's attention when you're Nissan, but when you're a no-name brand and you have really small budgets, it's different. And so I got really scrappy, found myself in the influencer marketing space, just trying to make it work on my own independently, which led me to building out Ulta Beauty's first ever influencer marketing program.
Amazing.
Scaled that to $1 million in 6 months. Did that for a few years, and then I decided I wanted to learn from other people and go in-house on the brand side. And so I was head of social at Anastasia Beverly Hills, Alo Yoga. When I started at Alo, it was just Alo Yoga. It was really just an affluent mom yoga pant brand. And I introduced multiple content strategies to help launch Alo Men, Alo Wellness, and take the brand through its transition to a more street style, it girl fashion brand, men's performance brand, lifestyle, wellness brand. And now I run a social media education business where I teach individuals, I work with brands, agencies, how to actually drive revenue from influencer and social. So I do group training programs, corporate webinars, online webinars, corporate workshops,
Cool.
all of that fun stuff.
That's amazing. That was a good amount of time we were talking before this, and Robyn's like, I don't know how much time I should talk about myself for, but like so many cool things between the both of you. And as you guys may or may not know, and the listeners know, I'm on the side of like retention and CX, and so I'm always thinking about like the people who are bringing in from any type of growth is like whether it's like paid media, organic, social, or just like influencers, how to keep those people. And one of the things that I have seen in the industry, and I'm interested to hear what you guys have seen with TikTok Shop and like whose job it is, you know, to like just like use it and overall, because it's a newer thing. And I'm interested because I've seen like the growth part of the business be like in charge of it, but then I've also seen like the influencer side be in charge of it, but then even like the customer experience and support is like responding to things, and there's all these rules. So
Yeah.
I want to know, like, how has like TikTok Shop, have you guys like
So in my experience, it's owned by the growth team. But it's one of those gray areas where I think the industry doesn't understand how intertwined social is throughout the entire business. That's just a repeating thing that I've seen over the course of my career, is that people don't understand the scope of social and influencer and how far and wide and deep that it goes. So it could start with like organic social team has an idea and they're like, oh, this would be a fire content idea. And if we link it to shop, we can instantly boost sales. So then they'll need to partner with whoever runs the e-com team. Maybe it's the paid team or the performance team that is running that portion of the business. Maybe you need to work with your influencer counterparts to get the right person to execute this campaign. But generally, I've seen it owned by growth marketing.
Cool.
On my end, it is a funny place. I've seen and I've experienced where influencers flip-flopped just itself, not even thinking specifically about TikTok Shop.
Yeah.
Ping-ponging between creative and brand marketing, or performance and growth. And so what I think works best, at least in this current age and like atmosphere that we're in, every influencer campaign, no matter what platform, has to somewhat be a performance campaign. Every brand needs it to tie back to sales. Best if you can attribute it, and that's what TikTok Shop is doing such a great job of. It's its own social media discovery platform, and it's a social commerce, and it's doing it way better, in my opinion, than Instagram Shop. And so in that case, I think it's really important for performance teams, as Robyn was saying, to really take lead on the campaigns and initiatives, put on your like customer acquisition hat and use the levers that growth marketers are more familiar with, like promotions, discounts, offers that a lot of TikTok Shop consumers have been experiencing. And so a growth marketer will know like how much levers you can pull. But it's also important to have a strong partnership with your creative and brand team just to make sure that, you know, the customer is aligned, because if it's really off, you're not going to retain the customer. As I'm sure you know, you really want to get a core customer, not really a promotional one that is first to jump on the deal and never comes back. And then on top of that, it's a collaboration with CX team, like you mentioned, responding to comments, responding to DMs, especially as an apparel brand, there's sizing issues, there's colors that could have discrepancies. There's just so many things to ask about. And so I think at that point, it's really inevitable to have a really tight SOP, standard operating process, with your CX team, so that you know like who handles what, how to communicate what, and then also so every person has as similar of an experience as possible. Yeah. Especially when TikTok goes so viral, you really need to have those guardrails in check so that you can close tickets, answer customers, and just move on to the next one.
Yeah, so many points there that I'm like, oh my gosh, wait,
Same.
like, guys. But like one of the early things you said was that Instagram layer shop isn't doing well, but then I also think about Amazon's like live shopping and like other apps have like tried to do this and like done okay, but I don't know. None of my friends that I talked to said I like bought that on Instagram shop, and if they did, they're like.
They're not admitting it.
No, that. But then they're also the experience is so weird because I've like bought stuff on Instagram Shop, but then I'm like, where did that order go? Like, where's my receipt? And then I find it in like a hidden tab.
They used to have a full-blown shop, and I know this because when I was head of social at Anastasia Beverly Hills, we were a part of this like very small group of 20 brands globally who they launched new platform functionalities with. And so I launched Instagram Shop on ABH. And then in the pandemic, I launched AR shopping, which allowed people to try on makeup through,
I remember
through
that,
augmented reality. And like you could use filters to still shop online, which like really saved us in the pandemic. And then it disappeared. Like they like rolled back their shopping features and removed the pages. And so the shopping experience to me, when you said that in my mind, I was like, it's really disconjointed because there is still an Instagram shop. And then you can also buy through paid ads.
Yeah.
And then you can also buy natively through story clicks. And so it's not at all optimized compared to TikTok Shop, which now fully like closes the funnel in one single video. Like you could be new to brand, watch a whole ass transformation. Sorry, I don't know if we're allowed.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want on this.
But no, you can watch a full transformation, be completely new to the brand, and then boom, click TikTok Shop and buy it.
Yeah, and it's like 2 clicks.
Two clicks and it's like done.
Yeah.
They've perfected the craft of like narrowing the funnel on that app.
Well, yeah, and I think that TikTok Shop has done it so well. But you guys remember when we were all sending each other the link for Flip shopping, and it was like, get $90 on Flip. I'm like,
I've never been paid before
from
that.
But didn't you get to use the free product, or you use the?
I
got so many free things.
Guys,
Do you know what
I
I'm
don't
talking
want
about?
to age myself, but I don't know what Flip is.
So okay, so it was
It's a newer thing though.
It's a newer thing. I don't know if anyone else is using it anymore, but like I think it was last year or maybe few years ago, and it was
hit my friend group.
Yeah, didn't make it to you yet.
Quick, refer her.
Yeah. Well, if you sign up for it, and if you refer your friend, you get like $20 to spend on the app. And we did actually some like good sales when I was at Chomps. I think I told you, Sarah, you know for sure, but I used to do retention in CX for the meat sticks. Nice. So much fun, and honestly, it's such a good like influencer brand. But we did like a lot of sales on Flip, but everyone was like, well, how does it make money? But like, if you referred a friend, and like, depending on how many of those friends had like other friends that weren't on the app, I can't remember. There was like, you could get more money to spend, but it was like all this free money to spend in the shop. And then the whole app was shopping. Yeah. And so there was like controversy on it. Like, do people like want to just shop, or do people like is everyone going to use their free money and that like it'll die? And I think that happened.
See what other people were shopping? Was there like any sort of interaction beyond like the referral dollars?
You could make so if you made videos, it was kind of like TikTok Shop in that sense. So if you made videos and people bought off you, then you could get more referral dollars. Yeah. But the whole app was just shopping. Where like TikTok is,
to me, this just seems confusing, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's like, what's the point? Is the point to give away free money? Is the point to drive users to then do what? Is the point to make it a social network? Like, just from the brief amount of time
I don't know.
I've heard, I'm like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Well, I think there was something, I don't think the execution was done particularly well in terms of long-term success.
Yes.
But I do think they were onto something interesting where they had a point system for who you're referring. Yeah. And what, to my understanding, it had to do with like the amount of, so they would ask for access to your phone book.
Yeah, your contacts.
And then if, I believe if there was a certain amount of overlap between current users, they would give you $100 referral, just knowing that they had so many connections already on the app. But I think that's like thinking in my like influencer marketing hat, it's so important to get these circles of influencers and then also beyond that circle of customers, because as soon as you have a circle of friends who are also customers, your product is always top of mind. Like if we all wear the same like tank top,
Aloe.
Everyone is wearing, and it's so interesting. I had a conversation a few months ago with a former VP of growth that I worked with, and he would always say that influencer is an appreciated value where the more influencers talking about the same product, the more brand awareness that you get versus paid social or ads or meta. Generally, the more you spend, the more money you put behind it, the decreasing return you get just because like people get kind of annoyed by ads.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was an interesting strategy from Flip and to think like, okay, let's get these circles of friends thinking that they're going to retain a little bit stronger than if it's just like cherry picked like this. I also see it a lot in like geographical launches as well. Is like, let's take over LA, let's take over New York because then you're seen everywhere. But I'm not sure if it's the smartest retention strategy if you can't offer newness.
Yeah. And I just didn't, I like definitely used it to like get my little free products. And I bought like a lot of, I didn't buy anything. I just got a bunch of like beauty products that I didn't feel like spending money on, like the aloe hair oil or aloe. The wait, what's that brand? The hair oil.
Olaplex.
Olaplex. Yeah, the Olaplex hair
Say
oil.
all the CPG.
I started using it, but you know what? I used it and or I got it from Flip, and then I ended up buying it. So it was almost like this like sampling type thing.
Yeah.
But I didn't buy it on Flip. Like
I wonder if it's still around. That's like the ultimate question. It's like,
what the heck is happening? About them.
What the
I
heck
think
is
I
happening
did too. I think they must have just like tried
got a new
again.
VP of growth or something.
Who knows?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is you have to have a clear, of course, like value prop, like, and it's money, right? But then also like, what is the call to action? Like, are we here to shop? Do you make money from shopping? Do you make money from getting people on the app and then you can shop samples? Are you supposed to create content? And that's why anytime I hear like, we have a new social platform, I'm like, it's never going to work. And like, I actually like was betting against TikTok.
I was just going to ask you that. Like,
yeah,
did you
because
think
I was like sick. Have
you're
fun.
like cute.
Have fun
all
dancing.
those little kids.
Have fun dancing.
I was having fun dancing.
And then the pandemic happened. Oh my God.
Yes.
And that
and then I
page,
danced more.
So then I danced more. For You page sucked me right in.
Yes.
Well, I think they do a really good job rewarding creators too. They have some of the best
creator rewards program. Yeah.
And it's just so
actually
transparent.
YouTube actually might be better.
Yeah,
YouTube is a competitor there too. But I mean, you could see that when everyone thought TikTok was gone for good, they're all saying, hey, catch me on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
I think TikTok is just more accessible.
Yes. Yeah. And more opportunity to go viral. And like, it's known for its short form content where YouTube has that option, but like long form is king there, I would say still. But yeah, the just paying to pay content. And I mean, I'm doing that currently right now, trying to create my own little creator programs to incentivize. But it's just so interesting just because I think it's so interesting when content, it's like the creator speaking directly to their phone and like, oh, I'm learning about their day or like something. And it's always interesting when they talk about their monthly finances and where it's coming from. And they talk about if they're on the creator platform, how much they're getting. Like, I'm willing to pay a few $100 for these people to post and they're getting like, I don't know, $15.
Yeah.
I'm like, why don't they just come flocking to me? They just have some sort of like, there's just some sort of like cult-like retention or connection with TikTok that they'd rather just create content there and
well, it's
make money.
Probably where their audience is and they know the algorithm best there.
But even if I'm like, hey, I'm a brand, I'll pay you so you can double dip, get content, get the payment from TikTok, and then I'll pay you on top of that to feature my product. It's not always working.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I think too, to that point, if we think about user behavior, when you're on TikTok, like it's the unintentional influencing that really creates the biggest impact.
Like
so
the
for
ollie
example,
pop in the hand.
Yeah.
Or like you don't say anything about it. It's just there.
Totally. Yeah. Yes. Actually, we went to an event here where One of the Olipop growth marketers and influencer marketers was saying how they went after a completely new set of creators to open up their user base. And it's worked tremendously for them. They tapped an entirely new market. But the example I was going to share is like I watched a video about a guy who was making coffees for his girlfriend. And it was just like a video about a man being sweet to a woman.
Yeah.
The entire comment section was like, but where'd you get those cups? Where can I find the cups? Like link the cups. And it's like, that's people care about what they want to care about, right?
Yes.
And you don't get to choose. So I think that's potentially why creators are so picky, because at the end of the day, like, yes, we can make social media formulaic and we can make content formulaic in terms of hooks and how we deliver a story, but people are going to cling on to whatever they want to cling on to. And there's only so much you can control as a creator.
Yeah, I deal with this with retention a lot, because brands will come to me and they'll be like, well, why are like subscription is huge now, and why are people canceling the subscription and whatever, like, and we go over like tactics to, or they always want to know tactics to like, if someone says I want to cancel, they're like, how do I keep them in that moment? I'm like, no, you have to go back from like before they even order and when they're ordering the product and like their experience with the product. It all comes like, you can't just try to keep them when they're trying to cancel and they're already mad.
You've already lost them
like
at
it
that
all
point.
comes back to like good product and then like that experience getting it.
100%.
And I wanted to ask both of you too that like, have you ever had challenges where like a brand, and maybe these are brands you might not even want to work with, but I want to hear your feedback of like a brand wants to build their influencer marketing, but the product isn't the best. Like, what do you do?
I've had that experience before. Do you want to take this?
No, you first. I need to think.
So back in the day, when I was freelancing and I was early in the influencer space, I worked for a company that no longer exists anymore. It was called Relio, and we were one of the first ever influencer marketing programs. It got bought out by Fullscreen and then got rolled up into the whole AT&T ladder. But I had to work with a brand. I'm not going to say who they are, but when we would send influencers the product, I want to tell you what it is, but is there a way to like bleep it out or edit it out of?
We can,
Okay,
just edit this out.
Edit this out. It's called, and like it was supposed to like, I can't even remember what the fucking product did, but it was a mirror that you attach to your wall, and it was supposed to like enhance your beauty routine. And so we would send this, okay, you can come back now. We would send this product. We would send this product to influencers and they would get it and they were like, no,
This sucks.
it doesn't work. It ruined my wall. And like some creators, maybe like 20% of influencers, and keep in mind, this was like YouTube marketing days, would like fake the video. And then other ones were like, sorry, no. And back then
Rightfully
we were
so.
working like totally. And back then we were working on like a CPM basis. And so I had to deliver like X amount of views per campaign. And like I was struggling because, okay, like I have 20% of the creators. That's 20% of me finishing the campaign. But I'm here telling the client like, okay, this is the feedback that we're receiving. And the client thinks that they have this amazing product, right? And it really puts you in between a rock and a hard place because you as a business owner have to fulfill upon whatever you've sold in, and there's no fucking way to do it.
Yeah. It's challenging.
It's really challenging.
Yeah, and then you get more experience and then you could just say no to those brands. But
Totally.
in the beginning of like helping brands with, especially when you're like on your own, like you're like new to it and you're like scared to even like Ulta doesn't even seem like it's like possible to reach out to of like,
Right.
you know, but I actually have been, I'm developing, I'll tell you guys later, we don't even need to bleep it out, but I'm working on this program for an influencer, but I'm focusing on influencer program. I'm focusing on like the experience for the influencers because brands also, and I'm sure you guys see this, like they look at influencers of like, oh, I'll just give them a coupon code and they will like, they'll do their thing. But I have seen like firsthand both sides of being like really good influencer program where like even unintentionally like brands just like are so close to their creators. They make them feel like part of the brand, et cetera.
1000%.
And then on the other end, just like giving coupon codes. And so with this brand that I'm working with, I'm like, we need to focus on like the experience, the like influencer experience, which I am so big on like customer experience. So I feel like that it's really, I'm passionate about like making it, and you can't just like expect things out of them and like look at them like
you
numbers.
have to make it special.
Exactly.
It's like, you can't be so transactional. It's all a relationship. Like how you experience our brand is going to make you want to come back or never interact with us again, whether you're buying from our website, whether you're buying in store, whether you're an influencer that we're onboarding and now we're asking you to promote us to your audience, whether you're coming in through social media and you're getting the quick response that you need online and we're helping guide you down the funnel. Like customers, it's going to matter no matter how you slice it. 100% it's relational.
And then the influencers, if they're promoting something and then they order it, but then they have like a horrible experience, then that loses trust. They lose trust for those influencers that like swore by their product.
I think about influencer campaigns exactly how you're thinking about it. Is the ideal partnership is the influencer started out as a customer. So they have that one experience with the brand that makes them trust to the product, and the delivery is going to be on time, and the product is going to come as they expect and work as they expect. Not only that, but they're going one step further and they're telling their friends about it, not just in direct conversations, but opening it up online and getting a broader audience than maybe the community that currently follows them. And so when I create influencer campaigns, especially with these like long-term partners that maybe they don't have any set deliverables, but they're on some sort of small retainer or performance retainer, there needs to be some sort of onboarding flow that I literally take from like Klaviyo playbooks. I have my own subset of customers or segments within Klaviyo that only influencers receive, letting them know about upcoming sales, upcoming colors, upcoming product launches, whatever it is, so that they feel like they're most educated about the brand. And so that that they can like post about it, and also they're armed with everything they could sell, they're armed with everything to sell more efficiently.
1000%.
But I bet you get more like organic posts or like people just talking about it rather than like having to like beg them to post sometimes too.
Yeah, and like they know what's going on with our brand, and sometimes like the benefit of being special. A part of this is that they get earlier access. They might get we might have a sale and we'll arm them with the actual products that are on sale.
It's exciting,
it's so fun. But something interesting that I'm just starting to execute is a win back flow
for influencers.
For influencers,
they used to work for a brand and now they don't.
So they're on like an forever evergreen campaign. There's no end technically. Like it's their performance based. So how much content they post, the impressions, the sales, they get money from it. But maybe they're coming up with bigger brand deals, or they're on vacation, or it's just not their focus anymore. They haven't posted in a few months. They haven't generated a sale in a few months. What can I do to communicate with them, to incentivize them to post again?
Posting about your brand. That's really smart. I love
so is it like a bump in commission? Is it like a free product if you post? Is it like, what's that sweet spot to get them involved? Because it's usually just like that one aha moment. It's usually for me like when an influencer makes their first sale. Especially if they're paid on performance. They're like, oh, I can make money. I see the money there. Like what do they have to do to just like get that aha moment back?
I love this so much. I think it's so smart, and every brand, anyone who's listening, should absolutely approach influencer like its own CRM. That's so smart. Like when we were at Aloe, when I was at Aloe in partnership with my head of thinking like back to my partner,
we're like
influencer
walking into
partner.
Aloe behind you, like
let's go, girls. When I was at Aloe, we created an entire like shopping experience just for influencers so that they could digitally get product, since we had such a heavy deliverable, and like we were doing twice weekly drops. Like we had a new drop every Tuesday, every Thursday. And so there was a lot of product to push. And obviously, as you know, the influencer program was so robust there. And I love the idea of taking it a step further and treating influencer like its own CRM. It's really...
And then when you have it in Klaviyo, you can see what works. So what are people clicking on? What are people deleting or not opening? And what's like even subject lines? So like that's incredible. And I think that like you have to be knowledgeable on like the entire like business, because that's where I love like customer experience too, because you're kind of forced to learn like what's going on. And so like I was forced to learn Klaviyo because like a link was broken or something. And I'm like, who's going to fix this? No one's going to fix it. All right, I'll figure it out. But like, that's not a lot of like influencer marketers that I've seen have like knowledge of the CRMs. And so that's huge. The other thing, I don't know if we want to talk tech or anything, but there's a tech that's will like gamify the experience. And so I'm setting that up. So it's like after if you get your first sale, like this is what happens. This triggers. So like they can get like, if depending on like how much money you spent on them and if it's profitable, like they can get a gift or a call from the founder or whatever. Like, and then like the different tiers. And I was talking to different brands where it's like, I've seen them use these like tiers internally for themselves of like, oh, this is how like these are like tier 3 influencers. So I'm going to like make sure I spend more time with them. But I like flipped it around and I'm like, no, we should make that gamified for like the influencers and say like sell 5 different flavors and this is you get this little token and 100 this when you reach this.
It's so smart. And I don't know if you guys know who Harry Jowsey is.
You don't. Too hot to handle.
Tell me.
Right?
Yeah. I'm like, who doesn't know? But it's you. This is great. I'm so glad I positioned it that way. So he is like a quintessential fuckboy who has made a career out of just like being a fuckboy on reality TV. And he now has...
I'm so bad at pop culture. If Jackie was here, she'd be like, of course so. He doesn't know.
You don't even need to know him. Okay. But the only reason why I bring it up is because he constantly is online pushing people to Snap, because that's where he makes the most money. And he's like, go to Snap, check me out on Snap. He's like, well, I need to be on Snap because that's how I get paid. And like,
he's making like a joke of it.
But that's the thing is like, you need to incentivize creators. You need to incentivize them, make it fun, make it a game, make them care, right? And how do we make them care? Win back strategies. How do we make them care? Let's gamify it. Let's make it fun. Like you can't we've so far surpassed the point in the industry where like you can just show up. Like you need to,
or you could just send free product and like they'll post for free. Yeah.
These creators have rooms in their houses or units that are just getting sent so much stuff that they don't even go through half of it. And a lot of them are upset because it's wasteful, right?
Yeah.
So you need to really like think, how can I entice someone? How can I make it fun? How can I develop that relationship? Because the industry is just so crowded. It's really the only way you'll succeed.
Something that I do is 100% you need these I call them milestone bonuses.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
And so you need to have that, especially if it's like an ongoing evergreen strategy to keep your community involved. But also strategically you can kind of like flip the coin and say, okay, like what are the bottlenecks to get to these top performers? And so that's what I've done is I looked at like, okay, what's the, out of all of our converting partners, how many conversions have they done? So let's say the average conversion is like 2 conversions over a lifetime. I'm going to have a huge milestone bonus once you make the 3rd, because I know that that's a really big bottleneck.
Yeah.
Also, like, I need to have some sort of delight after the first action is taken. Usually that's a piece of content posted. Yeah. So as soon as I post content, $20 in your pocket. Immediately. You can cash out right there, right then. You just have to post. So I think that's really smart to offer the milestones, but even smarter if you can have the data to back up what your bottlenecks are. To push your agenda a little bit forward. Yeah. You can also do things like, what's your AOV? How can you change the promotions to increase that? Or, there's just so many ways to slice and dice it. You mentioned something cool too that I'm like, oh, I have something to add to that.
Oh, what was it?
Oh no.
There's so many things.
I know there is so many things.
Yeah, too hard.
Yeah,
Well,
girl
when
boss
you
to the
were-
sun too hard.
The other like thing that I don't see enough companies doing too is like when you mentioned the like onboarding experience of your influencer, and I'm not sure if either of you know this, but I used to stream on Twitch.
Love
I
that.
did know
I
that.
didn't know it.
So,
Tell me more.
Loved that experience. I like accidentally fell into it because I worked for Ghost and we launched a gamer product, and so like for fun, and it was just like so happened to be during
many subs?
COVID. I think I peaked at like 1,500 a month.
Hell
or something.
yeah.
But it was gifted.
That's
you know how
incredible.
it works. Yeah. So I ended up quitting my job and streaming for like 6 or 8 months or something full time. And so I was like always like in the middle where it's like I'm brand side, but like kind of this like micro influencer, whatever.
Right.
But I always had like little ways to organically like just promote the brands that I like worked with and liked. And so I would have like, you know, I'd have my Discord and I'd have like an Everything Chomps channel, and people would just like post like picked up chomps at the like Trader Joe's. And it was like a way that I wanted to show like influencers, you can show your, because at the time too, and I'm sure it's still a problem, that influencers struggle because they're like, I give more value to the brands than just my conversions on my code. And so I was trying to like build this thing where it's like, okay, well, if people are like, if they're influenced by you but shopping in store, find a way to show the brand that, so you have like receipts of like, hey, I think I should get a commission every month instead of just like my code commission, or and it was like I learned so many ways to like do that I think that brands can do a better job at like onboarding their influencers and saying like, these are the best like tips to be a successful influencer for us. Here they are. And like doing like, you know, monthly like onboarding where you get on a Zoom call with your influencers for the first time.
We did this at Anastasia Beverly Hills. She was actually the first brand to ever invite influencers into her home. It was like
my gosh,
back
cool.
all day.
Wow.
In like 2015. And she basically like dead ass, she created beauty creators. She was like, okay, so like you guys all have real skill. I'm going to invite you to my house and I'm going to teach you how to do my method of eyebrows. I'm going to teach you the golden ratio.
Oh my gosh.
What did she do? She
the golden
literally
ratio?
created an army. So basically the golden ratio.
She doesn't get to know she wasn't there.
Oh,
Like you need to
sit
earn
with
it. You need to earn it.
oh, that's funny.
I do the same thing actually too. Where like I actually just started doing it, and like just the immediate impact is so clear. Like everyone that shows up to these, I have a monthly webinars.
Yeah.
It's part of the onboarding process. Is like we send a calendar invite if you're newly onboarded. I'll show up and I'll talk about the products, why the products are good for this month or like the next season, and then like every once in a while we'll have someone from our community talk about their exact strategy.
Cool.
And it's usually like a top performer. They get to connect with everyone else.
Yeah.
Do
you guys do live events?
So these are live, and
That's great.
it's a little bit of a challenge because like you have to be available during that time.
Sorry, I meant like in person. I said live. But
Oh no, this is just on like Google Hangout,
which makes it really easy to do, by the way, for everyone listening.
But it's so interesting to like have this as a strategy where it's a way to connect with the brand. And I always see there's like more involvement with the community after. And I'm just wondering, Zoe, if you had any experiences from a brand being able to replicate this with customers, because I can only imagine it's super successful but challenging to execute.
Well, Ghost, we were so close to our customers to the point where like it almost to an annoying point on when I was still working for Ghost, because I'd be streaming, like I would, you know, do my normal 9 to 5, and then like helping the Twitch community for Ghost grow was like also beneficial. And I'm just like such a workaholic that I'm like, well, I might as well like stream.
Work 20 hours.
Yeah. And it was COVID, so it's like there's nothing better to do besides do little dances on TikTok.
Right.
So like when I was done with my TikTok dance, I would go to Twitch. But we were so connected with our community that we would like play games with them. We would like we had like community days, and Twitch is so good for just like community in general and like interacting. And but then if there was any sort of like delay or problem or anything, they would be running to my Twitch being like, Zoe, my order hasn't been fulfilled and it's been 2 days. And I'm like, guys, can we like, I send an email to support at Ghost Lifestyle, and
it's
like
really hairy, especially on social. And I always say this every year and no one wants to listen, but like beginning Q4, October 1, you need to have your customer service team locked and loaded and like managing social media, because customers are going to go through the path of least resistance to get what they need. And so what does that look like? Oh, I follow you on Instagram. I'm going to go be a troll in the comments until I get what I want.
Yeah.
Not, oh, let me follow your 10-step process to find your like
customer support phone number
through your website buried on pages. Let me scroll like for 15 minutes. They're not going to do that. And so like you need to be like, talk about customer experience. Like you need to be prepared to combat that, because again, it comes back to people are not going to perceive you how you want to be perceived. People are not going to follow the path that you want them to follow. They're going to go about it their own way. And I think as a brand, regardless of whatever channel or platform you're owning, you need to be very clear about that.
Yeah.
What is the path of least resistance for your customer?
Well, and the other way around too is like, I remember I've worked with lots and lots of different brands, but one of the things that will happen is like the communication between functions is just like really hard to do. So like the social team, and like people always forget about the social team too,
Which is
crazy. And so like we would be out of stock of something, and not we as at Ghost, but just like any brand, like you're out of stock of something, and then you don't relay it to the social team who has had this like calendar that's been made for like a month
forever.
So then they post it, and then like operations gets mad, and they're like, how could you not know that we were out of stock on this? Delete that. I can't believe you posted that. And then like the comments, like it's such when communication isn't good.
Yeah.
But like what I've seen, and I think that it's so much easier. Shout out to Gorgeous, because the integration between the social media, TikTok shop, and everything, and you can put it right in to your customer service, and you can even like hide, delete comments, and you could DM people from Gorgeous, and it's like if you get their email, you can attach it to their Shopify profile, so you can see like
really easy
what's going on. You can see like, have they reached out to support, but then also like, have they commented on your posts, and like what's that like?
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and you could see it all there.
How much of a troublemaker is this customer?
Yeah, exactly. Like, should I give this?
Wait, are we gonna add like a flagging system to the customers?
You can.
So based on like how much money are they spending, and is it worth it for our customer service rep to get burnt the fuck out by this troll?
No, exactly. And sometimes you'll see we do that, because sometimes there'll be like really mean people on social media, and you're like, okay, what's your order number? Oh, well, I haven't made one, or I haven't had a purchase. And so it's like, why am I spending my time with you if you're just gonna like try to bash the brand? And like, we've seen it also where it's like they'll pretend to be a customer, and then but they're like a competitor.
The nerve.
Yeah, because then they don't know that you can like see some, like if you get their email and you can like So I'm a big component of just like connecting everything, almost like the CRM like example of like having it all. And I don't think that it should be like social media managers and that team shouldn't be responsible for like keeping up with every single comment and every single DM and every single ad comment.
I
because
could not agree more.
Yeah, and they're not equipped with the right like tools to do so a lot of times. It's just like your notifications.
And what's tough too is that there's not one central tool. Like if I think about how many influencer marketing platforms I love, I'm like, why can't you all just be one tool? Like respectfully, it's too much. Like,
Well,
and I'm saying that out of respect to like these founders that I know and love who
way
have
too
these
much.
amazing platforms, but I'm like, you do this one thing really well. You do this one thing really well. You do this one thing. And the same thing goes with social media platforms too. It's like, I get that we live in America and this is this is capitalism, but like, let's just maybe simplify things. I think we're all doing a little bit too much.
Yeah. Well, again, shout out to Gorgeous, because they make it really easy for like the big ones that people are like actually responding to and stuff. And you can see it also really, really cool there. The time has flown by, and I didn't get, Robyn, we didn't get your laughable moment yet. So I'm going to stop this conversation and ask what's your most laughable moment in your career?
So something about me just being social media girly, and we're connected online, so you can attest to this, but like I engage with everyone. Like if I like you, I love you. You're getting hearts, you're getting comments. Like I think it stems from just being a social media girly. Like I'm constantly
You want to
engaging.
support, you know.
And sometimes, one time specifically, I forgot that I was logged into the brand account.
Love these stories. Which one was it? No,
I can't say.
What happened?
Unfortunately, I can't say. But I did holla at a certain celebrity who was not wearing a shirt, and he looked great. And I responded from like Robyn's like point of view as opposed to like the brand point of view. So instead of like being, you know, it wasn't anything bad, but I was just like, damn, you look so sexy. And like, it actually ended up turning into like an organic, like, oh, okay, we'll send you product. And then they posted, which is great.
So you're doing your job.
Fully was like, wait. Like, wait. Like, I'm fully catcalling from a brand account.
Did you get a date out of it or anything?
No, unfortunately, I was never uncovered in that story. Which is, I think, a good thing. But yeah.
That's so good. I love when you see like on close friend stories that like, oh my God, I just posted accidentally on my company's Instagram like a bikini pic and hopefully no one saw it.
It's
Delete,
real.
delete,
No,
delete,
it's
from
real.
Facebook.
It is a real thing. Like I've done a lot of things from the brand account that I'm like, or like even posting content that's supposed to go to the brand account to my personal account. I'm like, my God, I just wasted 20 minutes like tagging every story.
And then you can't like copy and paste the whatever. Yeah.
Like, can't I just repost this somewhere?
No, that's so good. Okay, girls, where can the listeners find you if they're trying to look for you on the social medias?
On the social medias, for me, the best place to engage with me, chat with me is on Instagram at good.cpg.
Such a good.
Where I talk about brand strategy, influencer strategy, social trends. I talk a lot about like designs and really what's going on in the D2C CPG space. So yeah, hit me up there.
She posts really good tips on her stories in particular that's so good that I'm like, can you save this somewhere so I can come back to it? I have so many screenshots.
I've screenshotted.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys.
I bet if I look up your IG like name in my photos, like I'll have so many screenshots.
Oh,
You
yeah.
post amazing tips there. So
Thank you.
Definitely follow.
Good stuff there. You guys can find me on LinkedIn, Robyn Nissim. It's just LinkedIn, whatever, /R Nissim. And then there you can find me everywhere. I have a whole link in bio that will take you to my website, will take you to all of my group training programs, master classes. Subscribe to my newsletter. It goes out every Thursday, maybe Friday, kind of just whatever day it's ready.
Love a newsletter.
Once a week. And it's really great.
My newsletter goes out like once every like whenever I like have the
Once every whenever.
I'm like, I used to be so good, and I'm like, all right, the people who are subscribed are just gonna like get it when they get it, all right?
Whenever is
Yeah.
going to be my new favorite phrase.
Once every whenever, yeah, like because I'm like, why do I have to be so strict with myself?
You
know?
don't.
Exactly.
I think it's better to add value.
Yes,
Like if you can add value every week, do it. If you can't, don't do it.
Yeah, because
Don't take up
otherwise
people's
everyone's
space.
just gonna get like something that came from ChatGPT that's like might be helpful, but you know, I don't want to force it. So
Love that.
Well, listeners, thank you for listening, and don't forget to follow everyone. Like, comment, subscribe, rate the show. You guys know what to do, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Thank you guys. Thanks,
Bye.
Zoe.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. One last laughable
Okay, yeah.
story. So, well, not out the brand, but I was in charge of the influencer relationships, communication, and we had like an always on program. And then there's just like another program for just opportunities that come up. And so I just went through this really long brand building moment and workshop where we're redefining the influencers that we're working with to be more aspirational. And I get hit by my CMO asking me to reach out to the fart walk lady.
Oh my gosh. And
I'm like, okay, I guess that's technically on my plate to reach out to the influencer. And I mean, she's CMO. I'm like, okay, sure, I'll get back to you on this one.
CMO gets what CMO wants.
Yeah.
So I go and this creator influencer is on TikTok, and so you can only, the messaging isn't great on
So
TikTok.
hard, yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna publicly comment on her
Oh my
on
God.
her post. I'm just gonna DM her and see if she responds.
Like, I'm sure she doesn't have like an optimized, like,
No.
contact me here.
Most definitely not. She was like a boomer that goes on walks and farts, and like she's
That's so
totally not
crazy.
online, but she just talks about her like daily walks. So for like maybe 2 weeks, I had my whole team being like, so did the fart walk lady reach back out? Are we sending your product? I'm like,
Circling back on Fart Walk Lady, do we have an update on Fart Walk Lady?
That's so good. That is so good.
Comment down below if your CMO has also asked you to reach out to Fart Walk Lady. Like, what kind of deals does she do? Like, did you
probably
end
none.
up getting?
no.
Circling back.
She never reached back out and responded. I was like, please,
Missed
I'll send you whatever you want.
opportunity.
If you're listening
Missed
to this, Fart Walk
opportunity.
Lady, we're trying to reach you. We're trying to reach you. Oh my gosh, it's so good. That's such a good one to end on. Okay, I'm glad that we made time for that. Okay, now for real. Bye.
Bye.
You know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and catch us in the next episode. And thank you for listening.